Welcome back, everyone. I'm Brittney from Hawaii Wedding Studio. Today, we're diving into bridal beauty with the incredible Remy Reed. A Honolulu-based artist with roots at Chanel, Remy is a master of effortless, natural glamour. She's here to share her secrets on the art of the face and how to look like the best version of yourself for your big day. All right, let's get engaged.
Ruling back, turn it out into facts. Stay a while, press and play. You're smart, great every day.
Welcome back to the Deep Dive. I'm Sam.
And I'm Riley.
And today, Riley, we are putting on our floaties and wading into the deep end.
Oh, we are.
The very high stakes, high stress, and definitely high humidity world of wedding planning.
It's absolute chaos out there. I mean, it's a jungle of tool and spreadsheets.
It really is. And, I feel like when people start planning, especially for a destination thing like, say, Oahu, they get obsessed with the wildest detail.
Oh, completely.
Like, I have friends who will lose sleep over the kerning on the font for the invite.
Or the exact shade of blush for the napkins. Is it ballet slipper or is it bashful pig?
Bashful pig. I love that.
People have, existential crises over this stuff.
But here's the thing that always cracks me up.
Mm-hmm.
You spend all this money on the venue, right? You fly everyone to paradise.
Mm-hmm.
You hire a photographer who costs as much as a used Honda Civic.
Mm-hmm.
And then people think, oh, the makeup. I'll just do that myself.
Yeah, how hard can it be?
Right.
That is the classic strategic error.
It's a huge error. Because, look, nobody is going to frame a photo of your napkins 20 years from now. But your face.
Your face is the main character.
In every single picture.
That is a very valid point. And that is exactly what we're unpacking today. We're looking at why the wedding stylist, specifically the hair and makeup artist, isn't just a line item you can cut. It's probably the most critical person on your entire vendor team.
And to do that, we are doing a deep dive into the career of one specific artist who seems to be something of a legend in the Oahu wedding scene.
Right.
Her name is Remy Reed.
Yep. And looking at the research on Remy, it's fascinating because it really dispels that myth that makeup is just, playing with powder and lipstick.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, looking at her resume, I think she might be more educated than my accountant.
She definitely has a diverse transcript.
And definitely more educated than me.
It reads less like a beauty school dropout and more like a chemistry major.
So lay it out for us. What is the mission for today's deep dive?
Okay, the mission is to convince you, the listener, why booking a pro like Remy isn't a luxury. It is an absolute necessity, especially if you're getting married on a beach in the middle of the Pacific Ocean where the elements are actively trying to ruin your look.
And I was promised a connection to Shark Week.
You were.
Okay, I am staying tuned for that alone. Because if she can put lipstick on a shark, I'm sold.
We will get to the sharks. It's surprisingly relevant.
Okay.
But let's start with the pushback I always hear. Why can't I just do my own makeup? I look great when I go to work.
Right. I look fine in the bathroom mirror with the ring light.
Exactly. But the bathroom mirror isn't a high-definition digital camera.
Fair point.
And your bathroom doesn't have 80% humidity and salt spray. There are two factors here, photography and physics.
Oh.
A modern wedding photographer is shooting in 4K resolution. That sensor picks up everything. So if you use your daily foundation, which likely has SPF in it, do you know what happens when a flash hits it?
I'm going to guess nothing good.
You get what's called flashback. The titanium dioxide in the sunscreen reflects the light, and you end up looking like a ghost in your photos.
Oh, wow.
A professional like Remy understands the chemistry of ingredients that are camera safe versus ones that aren't.
So it's not just about applying product. It's about knowing how that product interacts with, light physics.
Precisely. And that's where Remy's background becomes the core of this whole discussion.
Yeah.
She isn't just someone who's good with a brush. Her career path is basically a masterclass in this stuff.
Okay, so let's look at the timeline. She didn't just, pick up a sponge yesterday.
Not at all. She started way back in 2009, a simpler time.
Simpler time.
She started at a benefit cosmetics counter.
Now, to the uninitiated, that kind of just sounds like a mall job.
On the surface, sure. But in the industry, high-volume counters like Benefit are considered boot camp. She wasn't just working on models. She was in San Francisco and Hawaii.
Okay.
So think about the diversity of faces she touched every single day.
Different skin tones, bone structures, ages.
Exactly. She mentioned specifically that this is where she learned face shapes. If you don't understand bone structure, you can't contour correctly. You just end up with a muddy stripe on the face.
The volume equals pattern recognition. She's seen enough faces to know exactly how to map a new one.
Instantly. Oh. Yeah, you can't just copy-paste a look from a YouTube tutorial onto everyone's face.
Right.
But then she leveled up. She moved to Chanel.
Ooh, fancy. Now we're talking luxury.
Very fancy. But it wasn't just about the logo. This is where she learned about industrial strength waterproofing.
Industrial strength, like for a roof or a boat.
For your face, Sam. She learned a technique involving waterproof eyeliner set with specific powders that literally locks the pigment in. It's chemistry. You're creating a hydrophobic seal over the makeup so that tears, sweat, humidity, they don't break down the bond.
Which, if you think about a wedding, that is basically the definition of a hazardous environment for makeup.
It is.
You're crying, you're sweating on the dance floor.
Exactly. It's a contact sport. But here is the differentiator that I think sets Remy apart from 90% of the stylists out there. Look at her education.
Yeah, I'm looking at this list, and it is extensive. She has a bachelor's in fashion design and merchandising, so she understands the whole look, not just the face.
Right. But look at the technical training. She went to the Cinta Veda Institute in San Francisco to get her esthetician's license.
Okay, pause. What is the practical difference between a makeup artist and an esthetician?
That is the golden ticket question. A makeup artist paints the canvas. An esthetician knows how to fix the canvas. Being a licensed esthetician, which she is in both California and Hawaii, by the way, means she understands skin health biology.
So she knows why you're breaking out, not just how to cover it up.
Precisely. Remy actually says that understanding skin is the true foundation of good makeup. If the skin isn't prepped right, the makeup is just going to crease or slide off.
That is a really good point. You can't build a house on a swamp.
You can't. And because she's an esthetician, she knows how to prep the skin, exfoliate, hydrate, prime, so the makeup actually bonds to it.
But she didn't stop there, did she? I see special effects on this list.
Nope. She took classes at Crayola in San Francisco for special effects makeup.
So if the bride wants to look like a zombie, Remy has her covered.
Well, hopefully no zombie brides. But it's more about understanding color theory and durability. Special effects makeup has to look realistic under harsh studio lights for, 14 hours.
I see. So if she can make a fake wound stay on an actor.
She can definitely keep your blush on during a humid reception.
Gotcha.
It teaches you how to layer products so they don't move. She also went to Temp2 in New York for airbrushing.
Airbrushing is huge in weddings, right?
It is, because it mimics the pixelation of a camera. Instead of dragging a brush across the skin, airbrushing sprays a fine mist of dots. Your eye and the camera blends those dots into a seamless complexion.
So it's naturally HD ready.
Exactly. And she even learned spray tanning from a celebrity artist named Isabel Elisa.
She literally crisscrossed the country to collect these skills like infinity stones.
She really did. She says her education is a reflection of her passion for learning. She's not just, resting on her Instagram following.
So we have established she knows what she's doing. She's basically a scientist with a blending sponge. But what's her vibe?
Okay, so Remy has a very specific philosophy. She quotes, "Less is more, except when it is not."
Deep. I like it. A bit cryptic, but I like it.
It's about adaptability, but her core style is really shaped by her island upbringing. She leans towards natural makeup that enhances beauty but still feels glamorous.
The best version of yourself approach.
Right. She wants a bride to look like herself, just polished. She doesn't want the groom to wonder, who is that stranger walking down the aisle?
Where is Susan? Who is this contour model?
Exactly. And she backs this up with her kit. You know how they say a workman is only as good as his tools?
Remy humbly quotes not me on her site, but let's be real, the tools help.
They do help. And she's not buying generic drugstore stuff. We're talking high-end. For skin, she uses Glossier, Chanel, Bioderma, Embryolisse.
Those are heavy hitters.
For makeup, it's Anastasia Beverly Hills, Kat Von D, Makeup Forever. For hair, Dyson GHD T3 Micro.
Okay, the Dyson dryer alone. That is an investment. That costs more than my first car.
It signals quality. But scientifically, the Dyson uses intelligent heat control. It prevents heat damage. In a humid place like Oahu, damaged hair frizzes instantly. So it's actually a frizz prevention strategy.
So you're paying for her skill, but you're also paying for access to this, Sephora-level arsenal.
Precisely. But let's talk about the cool factor, because besides weddings, she does some pretty interesting stuff.
This is the part I was waiting for. The resume drop.
She partnered with TikTok in 2020 for a brand called Blase. She's worked with corporate clients like Lululemon, Urban Outfitters, Hermes.
Hermes. Okay, now we're talking luxury.
But here is the one you were waiting for. She worked on the Discovery Channel for
Shark Tank meets Shark Week. I have so many questions. Was she doing touch-ups on Mr. Wonderful in a wetsuit? Was she contouring a hammerhead?
I'm going to assume she was doing makeup for the people on the show, Sam, not the sharks.
A man can dream. But seriously, that's cool. It implies she can work quickly in a high-pressure environment.
Think about it. You're on a boat. The lighting is shifting constantly. You have salt spray. You have high-pressure production schedules.
If she can handle the pressure of Shark Week, she can probably handle a bride's nervous breakdown.
It absolutely proves she can work in less than ideal conditions. But there's another side to her work I found really touching. She works with a program called Look Good, Feel Better.
Oh, I've heard of that. That's for cancer patients, right?
It is. It helps women managing the visible side effects of cancer treatment. Remy says this work made her realize how fragile self-image can be.
That's actually really powerful. Because on a wedding day, emotions are high. You're staring at yourself in the mirror. Yeah. Having someone who understands that vulnerability, that's huge.
It connects back to her goal, discovering what makes each person unique. She's not just painting a face. She's caring for a person.
Okay, so she's talented, she's educated, and she's a nice person. But does the makeup actually hold up?
Right.
Because Hawaii is not a controlled environment. It eats hairstyles for breakfast.
This is where we go to the reviews. And honestly, they're kind of wild. She has a perfect 5.0 rating across 35 reviews on Wedding Wire. 35 reviews and not a single 4-star. That is statistically improbable.
It's impressive. And the stories back it up. So the Oahu factor, you have wind, ocean spray, heat.
The enemies of hair and makeup.
Okay, review from a client named Zoe. She did a photo shoot. She says she was unexpectedly doused in ocean water, sand, and sweat.
The trifecta of disaster, that's game over. You look like a raccoon.
And Zoe says the makeup stayed on the whole time.
That is that Chanel waterproofing training coming in clutch.
Exactly. Then you have Zanny. She got married on a boat mid-morning.
Harsh sunlight. Reflections off the water. That's the hardest lighting situation possible. It is. Remy came to her hotel, adjusted the makeup specifically for that environment, and the photos turned out perfect.
See, that's the difference a pro makes. If I did my own makeup for a boat wedding, I'd look like a melting candle.
And it's not just makeup. There's a review from Brittney. She has fine hair, which is notoriously hard to style in humidity.
Oh, yeah. It just gives up and lies down.
Remy transformed it into a beautiful braid that actually held structure all day. That's product knowledge right there.
Okay, but here is the ultimate test, the sister test.
Ah, yes.
Kenna is a photographer, so she knows what looks good on camera, and she's Remy's sister. Now, sisters are brutal.
They are.
If your sister thinks you're bad at your job, she will tell you.
Kenna says Remy is the only makeup artist she has been happy with. She says Remy makes skin look ridiculously healthy, regardless of skin type or color.
Ridiculously healthy. I want my skin to look ridiculously healthy.
We all do, Sam. But beyond the skill, there's a recurring theme in these reviews about her vibe: punctuality and calmness.
Punctuality is huge. If the makeup artist is late, the whole timeline crumbles.
Anastasia mentioned her wedding was early morning and Remy was 10 minutes early. That reliability lowers the bride's cortisol levels.
Love that.
And then there's the chill factor. Christina, Kitri, Lisa, they all mention how sweet and calming she is.
Honestly, on a wedding day, having a chill person literally touching your face for an hour, that is worth double the money.
It really is. You need an anchor in the storm.
So she's basically a therapist with a makeup brush.
In a way, yes. And that brings us to the logistics. How do you actually get her?
Yeah, she sounds busy.
She loves elopements, actually,
Right.
the one-on-one connection. But there's a really interesting detail here. She works closely with photographers to understand their editing style.
Wait, explain that. That sounds like next level stuff.
It is 4D chess, so different photographers edit differently. Some shoot light and airy, some shoot dark and moody.
Yeah.
If you do heavy dark makeup for a light and airy photographer, it looks harsh. If you do soft makeup for a dark and moody photographer, it just disappears.
Oh, wow.
Remy actually looks at the photographer's portfolio to adjust the makeup so it translates perfectly to the final photos.
That is wild. She's engineering the face to fit the post-production software.
That's why she is the expert.
Yeah.
Now, for booking, since we're focusing on Oahu weddings, Remy is a preferred vendor for Hawaii Wedding Studio.
Ah, okay. That makes it easy.
It does. You don't have to hunt her down on Instagram. You can book her services specifically through Hawaii Wedding Studio via their wedding packages.
I love a package deal.
Yeah.
Simplifies everything.
It really does. You just add her to the package, and she travels to hotels, which is super convenient.
So let's recap. We started out asking if you really need a pro stylist.
And I think the evidence is pretty overwhelming. You get a licensed esthetician who understands the biology of your skin.
You get a fashion major who understands the total look.
You get a Shark Week-approved artist who can waterproof you against the Pacific Ocean.
And someone who is endorsed by 100% of couples on Wedding Wire.
It's a pretty compelling case.
It really is. And, it makes me think. We live in this world of filters, right? Facetune, Instagram filters. We're so used to seeing digital perfection.
We've forgotten what real skin looks like.
But on your wedding day, there is no filter. You are there, live, in 4K reality.
That's a great point.
Isn't it worth investing in real-life artistry? Someone who can make you look like the best version of you in the physical world, rather than trying to mimic a digital copy?
I think that's the ultimate takeaway. True artistry beats a filter every single time.
Absolutely. Well, if you're planning that Oahu wedding, definitely check out Hawaii Wedding Studio to book Remy Reed. It sounds like your face will thank you.
And your future photo album will thank you.
And hey, if you want more deep dives into the secrets of pulling off the perfect Hawaii wedding, make sure you hit that subscribe button.
We have got a lot more to uncover.
Thanks for listening, everyone.
A huge mahalo to Remy Reed for sharing her wisdom on achieving that effortless, best version of yourself bridal glow. From her Chanel training to her less is more philosophy, she is truly an artist of the face who brings a calming presence to any elopement. Thanks for listening. Until next time, stay salty, stay hitched, and we'll see you on the sands of Oahu.